Hello, everybody. This is Greg Clevin, Sen on Sports, along with John Sherman and Nick Clark. And this segment will review the State Girls Hockey Tournament that was held last weekend at XL Energy Center in St. Paul. And John, why don't you take us through some of the AA highlights?
Well, Greg, we had a great AA tournament this year. It was won by Stillwater 5-3 over Hopkins in the championship game. Just an excellent championship game. At the end of the third period, Hopkins tied the score 3-3 on a goal by Becky Cordham, their star forward.
Miss Minnesota, by the way.
Miss Hockey.
Oh, Miss Hockey. Yeah,
Miss Minnesota's a whole different
sorry about that.
competition.
Sorry, Miss Hockey. Right. Sorry.
Becky came through with the big goal, but then in the third period, Stillwater put 2 on the board, and that was history. One thing about the game, there were 10 penalties called, 8 against Hopkins, and that kind of impeded the Royals' chances of winning that game. I think one thing that the State High School League needs to look at with its officials is what is a penalty in girls hockey. Obviously, there's more contact now than there has been in the past. It looked like in that game there were some touch penalties where maybe 2 girls brushed each other, one of them fell to the ice, and the officials felt they had to call a penalty. I think they need to take a closer look at what is a penalty, what's not a penalty. Obviously, if somebody charges and knocks somebody into the boards, penalty, but some of this other stuff, it really needs to be evaluated.
There's a fine line when you walk when you take such a critical element like checking out of the game, and it's we talked in the past about the differences and how the boys' game is, it's such a big part of how you win and how you lose hockey games, and the girls, it's just not just there. There's been a lot of talk recently about possibly implementing it in the future. A lot of girls have been injured, concussions and whatnot. Just in the fact that when they're up on the boards, they're not bracing themselves for any sort of contact. When they get hit, they don't feel it coming, and boom, they're down. It's a big element of the game. When you take it out, as an official, I can't imagine how difficult it is to have to judge whether or not that is a check or a rub off or whatever else they call it. It's an interesting subject, and it's one that's going to have to be looked at, because as these players get better, they get faster, they get stronger. The physical element of the game is just it becomes more present, and it's going to have to be resolved.
The way it looked in the state tournament, in a couple other games too, is anytime somebody fell, it seemed like the officials felt compelled to call a penalty, and I don't think that that's really what the fans are looking for in the game.
Yeah. Stillwater fans got what they were looking for. They won. They capped what was a tremendous season. They had lost to Roseville twice during the regular season, came back, beat the Raiders in the section final to advance, earned the top seed in that state tournament, and carried it through and went all the way with it. So
this was the first year that they seeded for girls hockey, 1 through 4.
That was the second year, wasn't it?
I thought it was the first for girls, but I could be wrong on that.
I think it was the first for Class A, and it was the second year for AA.
Okay.
But I think it works out pretty good. It avoids the matchup of a possible 1 and 2 in the quarterfinals, and it sort of takes away the drama of the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, it gave us the final we were looking for, and as the tournament played out, Hopkins and Stillwater both really rolled into that state championship game before deciding it on Saturday.
And I don't think the Hopkins coach was inferring that penalties cost him the state championship.
No, he's a good sport. In fact, Ben
think
Palucci, the Hopkins coach, said give Stillwater all the credit in the world. He didn't want to take anything away. He didn't complain about the penalties. But I think some of the fans from Hopkins were complaining enough.
Vinny probably didn't have enough voice left after that game to get into it too much. The way, if you're anywhere near the ice level when Hopkins is playing, you can hear his thick Italian accent ringing around the building. He's got one of those deep, loud voices that carries, and he likes to use it.